People, I can't tell you, it's not easy to act. It's not easy to put yourself in the role of someone else and really pull it off. And Jimmy did it brilliantly. Hey everybody, welcome to another sit down with Michael Franzese. As you can see, I am still in my hotel room in London, England, central London, by the way. Great hotel, great section of town. We're really enjoying it and having a great time. And we'll be here for another couple of weeks. As I told you, they're going through a heat wave here. It's like 102 degrees, and it's really unusual for London. They normally ever get heat waves like this. Coming from California, obviously, we're used to it. The other surprising thing, we've been here now for 3 weeks, and I think we've seen maybe 2 hours of rain, which is totally unusual for London. Last time I was here, same thing. We were here for 5 or 6 days, hardly any rain at all. So everybody is happy that we're here. It's like we're bringing the California sunshine to London, and people are really appreciating it. So, hope everything is well with everybody. Everything is great here, like I said, and I am back online. I know I was off the grid for a while on YouTube, only because we've been very busy with speaking engagements here. The people are loving it. You know, it's amazing. I have been all over the world, from Singapore to Australia to Bulgaria, here in the United Kingdom, all of the islands, speaking about my former life, and it's amazing the intrigue that people have and the awareness they have of Mafia, Cosa Nostra. And mainly that's because of the movies, obviously, because of the media, because of figures like Al Capone and John Gotti and Lucky Luciano and guys like that who really made a name for themselves, not only in the United States, but worldwide. So we're always accepted well. But you know, the major part of what people enjoy, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, is the second part of my life, the transformation. And people are always curious. They always ask me about certain things when we do the Q&A. We've been doing a lot of them. And it just shows me that people, no matter what walk of life you're from, you still have struggles, you still have family issues, you still have issues that people all over the world deal with in different ways. And when I give them some source of encouragement and hope that I've been able to come out of a tough situation, they're really pleased by it, and they're really intrigued by it, and they want to hear more. So it's been a great tour so far. We have several dates coming up. I'll be in Ireland coming up shortly. Can't wait for that. Then Scotland. It's just going to be great. The people have been wonderful, and we're having a great time. So I'm not ready to come back to the States yet, but, you know, as they say in The Wizard of Oz, there's no place like home. So it'll be nice when we finally do get back. I'm spending practically the entire summer here, but it's well worth it. Meeting a lot of great people, and it's all good. And you know, my last video with all of you, we talked about Tony Sirico's passing. Very, very sad day for us all. And then I talked about Jimmy Caan, who we're going to speak about today, and obviously Ray Liotta. So within a short period of time, 3 iconic mob movie actors have passed away. And you know, in Italian, we say things always happen in threes. So hopefully that's it. Those are the 3, and there will be no more. And even though they're sorely missed, we certainly don't want to see anybody else passing away at this point in time. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We're on our way to 1 million. We appreciate it. If you enjoy the content, you get some updates and alerts when we're coming on air. So if you're gracious enough to do that, we appreciate it. Jimmy Caan, interesting character, a guy that I met way back when during the Italian-American Civil Rights League, during my relationship with Andrew Russo, who was my capo regime at one point in time. Obviously, Carmine Persico, who was once my boss. Jimmy Caan was very close to Andrew Russo. He certainly knew Persico and did, hang with him once or twice. And he did appear at the Italian-American Civil Rights League rally. Not at the rally, I'm sorry, at the meetings that we had at the Park Sheraton Hotel during the time that The Godfather was being produced. So a little bit of background there, but I want to make this clear again. He didn't pay homage to the mob. He was friends. You know, a lot of times we had friends that were celebrities and even politicians, although the politicians, there's usually a dirty side to that. But actors, they were friends of ours. You know, they didn't pay homage to us. They didn't owe us anything. You know, we might have helped them out sometimes if they had to fill a room like we did sometimes in the case for Frank Sinatra. But I want you to understand, they weren't members of that life. They were associates because they knew us, but they weren't part of the life, if you understand the distinction. Jimmy Caan had a little bit of a closer relationship because he was very close with Andrew Russo. And as a matter of fact, his son, Scott Caan, is Andrew Russo's godson. Andrew did baptize him in a Catholic ceremony. And they're very good friends. Jimmy Caan had no problem in saying that, you know, and aligning himself with Andrew, and he shouldn't have. You know, everything isn't all about, you know, murder and robbery and theft and everybody being a bad guy. It's not that way. We had friends, and we treated those friends well, and those friends in turn liked us. So that was the case with James Caan. You know, the funny thing about it, you know, Jimmy Caan won the Italian American of the Year. I think he won it 2 times. And he's Jewish. Jimmy Caan is Jewish, if you don't know that. He was also one time denied entry into a country club because they said he was a made member of the mob. And obviously that wasn't true. He was Jewish, but because he was associated with it. And for a time, I think the FBI, when they had Persico and Andrew under surveillance and they seen Jimmy Caan with him, they mistakenly thought that he was a real mob associate. They didn't realize until later on he was an actor, and then that was cleared up. But imagine being denied membership in a country club because they said he was a made member of the mob, the Colombo family. Totally untrue, but just some funny things about Jimmy. And he was born in the Bronx. His father was a butcher, I believe. He grew up in Sunnyside, Queens. And interestingly enough, he went to school at Michigan State University. He aspired to be a football player there, but he didn't make the team from what I understand. And later on, at some point, he transferred to Hofstra University in Long Island, the same university that I attended for 2 years, and Jimmy and I have something else in common. He didn't graduate, neither did I. I went into the mob, he went into acting. But also the interesting thing is that Francis Ford Coppola also attended Hofstra University, and that's where he met Jimmy Caan. I don't know if any of you knew that, but that's an interesting fact. So Coppola and Jimmy Caan formed a relationship while at Hofstra. Francis Ford, as you know, went out to be a great director, the brilliant director of The Godfather. And I believe in 1969, the first time that Jimmy Caan played in a film for Coppola was a film called The Rain People. And I understand he did a great job. It was one of Coppola's early films. Jimmy Caan's first major role, I think, in a film was in 1964. He was in a movie called Lady in a Cage. And he played some kind of a punk hoodlum that got his eyes poked out. So he started with the hoodlum gangster type of thing early on in his career. I'm not going to go into Jimmy's whole filmography because it's too long. He was a real accomplished actor. He played in dozens of films. He did comedy. He did serious stuff. He didn't only play a gangster. He was brilliant. And then, of course, he did a lot of television. I don't know if you know that he was in some of the early episodes of The Untouchables, you know, which was a great series with Robert Stack, who played Elliot Ness. I love The Untouchables. It was in black and white, but it was terrific, all about Al Capone and the whole deal. Jimmy Caan played in at least one episode, maybe more. So he's done so much, you know. Jimmy Blue Eyes, remember that? He was great in that movie, you know, I loved it. And so many others. He played in so many others. But, you know, at some point in time when he was doing his earlier films, they stopped casting him in films. And the reason was they said none of his films ever made any real money. And that's not his fault. I mean, he wasn't the primary actor in many of them. But if a film doesn't make money, it's not his fault. You know, it's whatever the reason might be. Maybe it just wasn't appealing enough to the audience. Maybe it wasn't directed or written well. Who knows? But he went back into television as a result of that. And I think in 1970, he was asked to play the role of Brian Piccolo in Brian's Song, a great TV movie. He didn't want that role. He turned it down several times. They kept coming back to him. He said no. But then he read the script and he really got into it and he said, you know, I'm going to do this role. And it was a good move for him. He was brilliant, by the way. It was one of my favorite television films at the time. And I think he was nominated for an Emmy. He did a great job in that film. And he went on to do so many major roles. And again, I don't think I'm here to tell you about every movie that he was in. You can look that up online, obviously, and see all of that. But major role, we know what that was. It was Sonny Corleone in The Godfather, and he was brilliant. My favorite scene, I got to tell you, was when he beat up Gianni Russo if you remember, because Gianni Russo didn't treat his sister right. He's hit his sister in the scene before that. And he chases him in the street and he beats him up. He hits him with a garbage can. And, I saw an interview later on with Gianni Russo. He didn't like Jimmy Caan. He said Jimmy Caan didn't treat him right, didn't treat him respectfully. At least that's what he said. He said, and then that garbage pail scene when he was beating him up, he really beat him up. He hurt him. Supposedly he hit him pretty hard, and Gianni Russo was bruised after that. And as a result, he didn't like Jimmy Caan. He said Jimmy never gave him the proper respect. It's a funny thing about Gianni Russo. If you watch the television series The Offer about the making of The Godfather, it was great the way they portrayed Gianni Russo. He presented himself the same way he presents himself now. He wanted to be part of that movie, The Godfather, so bad he kept presenting himself and kind of bragging about himself, boasting about himself. And, he was just kind of pushed to the side for a minute. And then obviously he got the role and he did a great job in there. He really did. But, and obviously, in The Godfather, it was Gianni Russo that set up Sonny Corleone, James Caan at the toll booth to be shot and killed in another brilliant scene. It was really tremendous. But Jimmy Caan was great in that movie. It kind of made him who he was, even though he did other brilliant things. Because of the success of The Godfather, it just followed him forever at that point in time. And after The Godfather, he still did a number of things. And then at one point in time, he just wanted out of Hollywood. He did do Godfather 2. Then at some point in time, he just wanted out of Hollywood, didn't want to be involved anymore, and he kind of went on a hiatus. Yeah, I think from around 1982 to 1987, he just suffered from depression. He also had a cocaine problem, and I knew that that was developing because I remember having a conversation with Andrew about it, that he wasn't really happy with the way Jimmy was acting. So aside from the cocaine problem at that time, his sister had tragically died from leukemia, and he just went into a state of depression. He was really upset. He was suffering again from the cocaine issue. His sister tragically dies. He's had burnout from Hollywood, didn't want any more acting at that point in time. So he was just in a bad state. Then to add injury to that, in 1985, he was in a car crash. And he just considered at that point in time to just really hang it up. He didn't want to be involved in the industry anymore, didn't want to do any movies. That was it. And then I'll never forget, there was an interview one time when he said, yeah, I was going to hang it up. I thought I was set for life and then realized I was flat broke, ran out of money. And, if you got a cocaine problem, that bank account can be depleted very, very quickly. Trust me, I know that. I had an issue with my brother and sister. And, a lot of money, went into the wrong places as a result of their cocaine habits. So I'm sure that's what certainly, caused him to go broke in a major way. One day he was sitting around and he saw the ribs protruding on his dog because he couldn't feed him. And he said, I guess it's a good time for me to go back to work. So, Jimmy had a way of describing things. So he goes back to work. And then interestingly enough, shortly after that, he got involved in a movie called This Thing of Ours. It was produced by a guy by the name of Danny Provenzano, who I had known. He was an associate, really, of my father's, not mine. And he was writing and producing this movie, and he got James Caan and Jimmy Pastor and a couple other guys, I think, that were known to be involved in that film. And I remember my father coming to me at that time and said, Mike, you want to get involved in this? They're trying to raise some money, and, you can help them out. Anyway, I did a little research, and I declined at that point in time. I was doing other things, and I said, Dad, I don't have time for this right now. I can't get involved. And my father kind of stayed with it. He didn't raise any money. He didn't have a financial interest in it. It might have been helpful that, because he was involved, Jimmy Caan got involved, maybe Vinny also. And so they made him an associate producer. But trust me, he didn't play an active role in that film. People have asked me, Mike, why didn't you review that film on your Mob Movie Monday? Well, why don't you watch it? And then if you want me to review the film, if I get enough feedback from it in a positive way, then maybe I'll review it. It was based upon a true story. It didn't really make any waves at the box office. I think Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 4 or something like that, 40% rather. But watch it. I mean, you may enjoy it. And of course, Jimmy did a great job. Vinny did a great job. They always do. They're terrific in that regard. So watch the movie. And again, that was our little association with that film. Let me give you some fun facts about Jimmy that you may not know. Number one, he was practicing martial arts. He was really into it. He liked it. I remember Andrew talking to me about it. As a matter of fact, Andrew was joking about it one day with me and a few of the other guys about Jimmy's martial arts, number one. Number two, he used to took part in roping steer in some rodeos, and he used to joke about him being the only Jewish cowboy he ever knew. And let me finish up with this. Now, hopefully this doesn't turn some of these erratic people off when I say this, because I'm telling you, the amount of hatred that's around when you mention this name, it's unbelievable. So hopefully those of you that love Jimmy, that enjoy his work, this is not going to change anything, because I've seen it happen, people. Families fight with one another, friends disband, business partners go crazy when you mention this, because some people do have this hateful syndrome towards Donald Trump. Well, Jimmy Caan supported Donald Trump in 2016. He voted for him. So that shouldn't change anything. And if it does, shame on all of us that feel that way. I mean, really. This was an iconic guy. This was his opinion. He supported Donald Trump for his policies. I don't believe he knew him. I don't think he went out to eat dinner with him. He liked his agenda for the United States, for America, and therefore he supported him. So hopefully that doesn't change your opinion for those of you that don't like Trump or hate Trump and have that syndrome and love Jimmy and enjoy his work. So that's about it. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, you know, Jimmy, we're going to miss you, man. You were iconic. How about Jimmy and Elf? Wasn't he great in Elf as Will Ferrell's dad? I thought he did a great role. It was one of my favorite roles of him, believe it or not. He was just terrific in that role. But he was so diverse, man. He could do just about anything. He could play a gangster. He could play comedy. He was just great, you know? And you just appreciate talent like that. People, I can't tell you, it's not easy to act. It's not easy to put yourself in the role of someone else and really pull it off. And Jimmy did it brilliantly, as did Tony Sirico. Now, Tony, you know, really played a gangster, which he really was at some point in time. So it was really easier for him to get into the role that he was very familiar with. Jimmy Caan, differently, played different guys. But Paulie was comedic, too. He was funny. And, of course, Ray Liotta, just brilliant. Can't say enough about all three of them. They're going to be sorely missed. Fortunately, we have, you know, many, many places that we can watch their great work that all three of them did. And, you know, and again, I'll say it in Italian, we used to say things happen in threes. So hopefully that's it. You know, these three icons will end it, at least for now. You know, we know we're all going to die at some point in time, but I think we've had enough for this year with these people. So, but watch their work, enjoy them, you know, thank them, and always be grateful for the enjoyment and the entertainment that they gave us. So that's it for today. How do I always leave you? Same way. Be safe. 12 people shot over the weekend. A couple of them died in New York. It's going on all over our country, man. I don't know what's going on, but please be safe. This is just terrible. It's tragic. It's just horrible. Be safe when you're out there. Ladies, I always tell you, just be aware of your surroundings, please. Whether you're in a parking lot, a department store, just make sure you're not alone walking the streets. It's dangerous. I find it to be a little less dangerous here in London. We don't hear about these things that often. I don't know what's going on in the United States, but being here for 3 weeks is very troubling to know that all of this drama and all of this tragedy is going on in the United States, and I don't see it here in a major city like London. At least that's not what I'm experiencing so far in these past 3 weeks. I don't know what it is, people, but hopefully we can clean up our act out there in the United States, and it starts at the top. Hopefully our administration and people in government will start to ease the tension that's going on, because that's what it's all about. It starts at the top and trickles down. Be healthy. Do the right thing. Franzese wine, a glass a day will probably keep you in good shape. I'm understanding, too, there's some really good benefits to drinking brandy. And brandy will be a product of ours fairly soon. And again, always you treat it the right way. We don't ask you to go crazy with it, because nobody appreciates anybody that's drunk. I don't like it, I don't forgive it, and I don't excuse it. If you have a drink for enjoyment, that's okay. If you get drunk and do stupid things, it's inexcusable. Got to watch yourself, people. Got to be responsible in anything that you do in life. Be safe. Be healthy. I really do mean this, people. God bless you. As a Christian and a person of faith, we don't wish anybody any evil or any harm. No matter what they've done here, we always know that there's forgiveness. If God can forgive any one of us, especially somebody like me, hey, then he can do it, and he will do it for anyone else. Who are we to hold a grudge against anybody? Be safe. Be healthy. God bless you all. And from London, I'll see you next time.